Welcome to the world of SPARTS. I'm Karen Setlowe, the creator of SPARTS. A fusion of sports, arts, and school studies. SPARTS actively involves students in their learning process. During SPARTS activities in schools, students learn to appreciate their individual skills as they blend sports, arts, and school studies.
I'm very proud of this community and the people who live here, and so when someone with a very interesting idea came in walking in my building and presented it to me, and I thought, this has potential to go spread beyond just the borders of Liberty or Pickens County or even South Carolina.
It's very important for the students to move, to get up and move if you're going to combine sports and the arts. I really feel that the more they move, the more they're involved, the connection is going to be greater. Whether it's a high-functioning class, an average class, or a low-average class, moving and getting involved is going to be beneficial to the student.
It's long recognized that working with music and art certainly contributes to success in other areas in life and in the classroom.
During the SPARTS process, students discover that SPARTS intends to nourish their journey toward knowledge. They learn about themselves, what the world has to offer, and how it all connects in active, artistic, interesting, and surprising ways.
Became involved in SPARTS about 2 years ago whenever I was approached by my principal, who said there is a strategy that someone is trying to develop to positively impact student education. He came to me and said, would you be willing to open up your room? You have space, you have bright students who would be willing to participate and to share their wonderful ideas. And at that time I was very intrigued by the possibility and I wanted to learn more about what maybe the strategy involved and what kind of elements it could help my students with. And so it was at that time that I began to be interested and more aware of the SPARTS initiative. When I explained SPARTS to my students, I used just the name SPARTS to begin with. I use sports, artistic expression, and then of course school subjects. And so you have the idea of physical movement with whether it's coordination, anything that is an expression of an idea or a concept. And obviously in a school setting, our main emphasis is for our students to improve their skills in academic areas outside of the arts, which they take classes in both areas. So I tell my students, this is a way for you to use everything that you would normally use in your life. In relation to SPARTS, I see tone as a way where we can use music, where we can teach a melody. And students are aware of things that are physical, that maybe are related to science. They might study another science class, and yet artistically, we use those same physical things, whether it's the sun or the moon or even just energy that they might study. Well, the essence of SPARTS that I have experienced thus far is spontaneity and just doing something that maybe you weren't expecting beforehand, and yet the person in charge of overseeing the SPARTS process, they are still in control. So it does not disrupt as far as behavior or even just intellectual development, as long as you have an engaged teacher who is willing to challenge themselves while they are challenging their students.
We are Spartists, we are knowledge, we learn and we grow, we travel the earth with the sun's glow. We are Spartists, we are knowledge, we learn and we grow, we travel the earth with the sun's glow. With the sun's glow.
SPARTS is great because it doesn't require, even though you could, it doesn't require additional materials be bought. It requires a creative person to go to their storage area, to their garage, or to their room where all their sports equipment are. It doesn't cost anything. All it requires is motivation, willingness, effort to open the room to sparks, to open to the idea of trying to do something, maybe even the same thing in a different way, to reinforce it in a different way, and just using the physical things that you might have around your home or around the school building to come in and allow the students just to interact with their brains and these physical objects.
SPARTS is a way to understand school more, and you can relate things that'll help you learn it better, because you can combine the arts with your school studies to try and help you relate. And if you play sports, a lot of the times you could relate your calls on softball, I know that, to what you're doing in math a lot of the times.
Part of the beauty of SPARTS is that it doesn't require a great organization or bureaucracy to make sure that it's successful. It's an idea, and it's a very simple idea. So simple that sometimes it's easy to overlook. But once a teacher has the basics of SPARTS, of allowing students to learn something that they normally would cover, to reinforce something they would normally review in class, but to do it by adding one or two elements, whether it's lifting a weight while they're doing something else, or whether it's balancing on a board or interacting. I think it is very easy to see how SPARTS can be a part of the instructional program for a school, even if it's used as a strategy every once in a while, or used on a more elaborate basis broadly, that it does not require someone to be highly trained in SPARTS, because the greatest training for SPARTS is really going to be one's own personality and their willingness to know what their students are capable of and what they are capable of as well. The beauty of SPARTS is a little bit of SPARTS is okay, a lot of bit of SPARTS is okay, and that there does not have to be someone all the time looking over the shoulder to make sure that certain elements are followed for it to be 100% correct. Because part of the beauty of SPARTS is you get to take SPARTS and make it what you want it to be. There is no checklist that has to be met. There is no requirement that has to be set for a teacher to be able to use the idea of moving students out of their seats, moving students out of their comfortable places, even in their minds, and using the things in their environment around them to combine all areas of thinking and all areas of development that they might interact with in school. So I see SPARTS as a very easy way for teachers to increase the effectiveness of their instruction without a district having to spend a great number of resources in dollars or time or hours. It just takes what we normally carry around with us all the day, ourself, our energy, and our own motivation, self-motivation.
Just when the caterpillar thought the world had ended, it became a beautiful, colorful butterfly. I created SPARTS in part because my vision was to help students throughout the world become their own beautiful, colorful butterflies. Please join me in helping to spread the word about SPARTS, a fusion of sports, arts, and school studies, so that students throughout the world can discover what kind of butterfly they want to be.